What's up YouTube? In this video I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the nameplates on your tank. So I've been deciding on removing these for quite some time. I'm not a huge fan of them. Just been tossing up the idea as to what to put on there. And finally, just browsing through the internet, I found some photos and found a company that offers something that I like. So I'll show you what I got. But first, I'm going to show you some of the tools that I'm going to use. Now, there's plenty of ways of doing this and plenty of different tools. This is just what I'm going to use. So we'll start with an eraser wheel. I'll drop a link down in the description. Some pry tools, plastic, tape measure, some tape, another measuring tape, a drill for the eraser wheel, some alcohol, goof off, which honestly I'm not a huge fan of, but I don't have any of my wax and grease remover left, so I just gotta kind of make do with what I got. And then the decals. And so these came from a company called Discontinued Decals, and they're down there in Deerfield Beach, Florida. They have quite a bit of them on their website, and the quality, from what I can tell, is top notch. Let's go ahead and get those out of here and take a look at them. So this is what I ended up going with. They're going to be shinier. It's got like a matte film over it for application purposes. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to remove this without causing any damage to the clear coat. If you were to horse on these really hard, there's actually a chance that you can cause a ripple in the steel or even like a little dent. Tedious work. So I forgot to mention another tool is either a heat gun or a hair dryer. Honestly, when I'm working around paint, I prefer to use a hair dryer. The purpose of that is just to heat up the adhesive, the two-sided tape on the backside of these hard decals. It helps it become more pliable and easier to work with. Throw some tape around your work area. Go ahead and get the area warmed up. I'm gonna do it in sections and then move on to the next half because it's such a kind of tedious job and it takes a little bit of time. If you were to heat the whole thing up, by the time you get to the other end, it's gonna be cooled down by then. So just do it in sections. Take your plastic tool. It still can damage paint, so don't get careless with this. Just kind of get in there and push on the two-sided tape. It's not going to look pretty when you get it off, and that's the whole reason I have the eraser wheel and the goo off. You don't want to pry on the tool, so to speak, because that's where you're going to start gambling with potentially causing damage to the actual clear coat and the actual tin, the actual metal itself. Pry it just a little bit so you can kind of see tape peeling apart. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Once you get about 80% of it, you'll be able to pull the whole emblem off pretty easy. Like I said, just be careful. You don't want to be prying or ripping or anything like that. And there you go, that's off. Now that is a lot of two-sided tape on there. That is some thick crap. So this is where it gets a little tricky. If you don't have an eraser wheel, this would take you forever by trying to scrape it off with your finger or using even a plastic razor blade. That's a possibility. Or even trying to use goof off. That would take you an astronomical amount of time. So that's where these eraser wheels really come into play. Huge help. Now you have to be careful with them. You can burn through the paint with an eraser wheel. And what I mean by that is if you just sit there and put a tremendous amount of pressure on it and stay in one spot, I promise you, you will go through the clear coat and into the base coat. There's no doubt about that. You gotta get comfortable with this because if it catches and takes off on you, you don't want your drill or any other parts of the drill or eraser wheel to hit your paint. Obviously, that'll be a bad day. Get comfortable and just put a little bit of pressure. I'm trying to get a good view of it with the camera and switch you guys around. Like I said, you gotta get comfortable. That's why I had to move the camera. So you can go vertical or horizontal with the wheel. It's really just about being comfortable, in my opinion. I'm not putting a tremendous amount of pressure on there. I'm just putting enough on there so that I can still have control of the drill. But notice how I throw a couple fingers on the drill with my other hand as well as on the tank. And I have the battery into my gut, just kind of stabilizing it. You really want to have control of this drill, because it does not take much for it to kind of jump out of your hand. Alright, grab the goof off, get it on a rag of some sort. It's hard to see, the GoPro's not really picking it up, but you can see the lines right there. So obviously I want to correct those, I want to get rid of those lines before I apply the new sticker. So I'll show you guys what I'm going to do as far as correcting that. I'm not going to do a full detail on the bike or really hit on much of detailing. I'll just hit on the necessities to correct this, so that way you can apply your decal. Alright, so before you do the sticker install or badge install, you're going to want to use some surface prep. Just clean the area a little bit. I used to be a big time 3M guy, the 3-step. I switched over to the Rupus stuff. This is their yellow fine polish compound. It's more of a polish than it is a compound, but it does cut a little bit. I don't have my Rupus polisher here, but I do have my porta cable, which is just fine for this kind of application. If you guys want a detailed video, I can make one up for you. I am going to be re-ceramic coating this bike again, so I can even make a video on that. This detail is just part of the video because it's one of the steps I'm doing for installing the sticker. There you go, that's all you really need. I'm gonna do one more pass over it. So go ahead and get your first one where you want it. Just give yourself some sort of guides to go off of. You'll be able to move it around. All Alright, get the first one marked off. When you're happy with it, get it applied. And you can just measure off of that one for the other side. So I'm gonna do this wet so you have some wiggle room slash if you make an error, it's not the end of the world. You can usually fix it. I just use soapy water, nothing crazy, just a little bit of Dawn soap, just a couple drops. If you leave a little bit of that outer film on there, it gives you somewhere to grab because obviously that's gonna come off whenever you're done with it. They provide a little applicator blade, so works good. You always want to start in center and work your way up and down. It'll give the sticker somewhere to move, and it'll also help get all the air and water out. Some people do hair dryers and heat guns and things like that. You can do that. Once you get it pretty close to being done, pull that outer film off. It'll help you work the last little bit of water out of there. Center to outside. See, now you don't have this film overlapping that very edge, preventing the water to come all the way off and be absorbed by the towel. So now any last little bit of water that's in there, as soon as you rub it to the edge, this will pick up that water and it won't go back under the sticker, so to speak. So this is where you can either eyeball it or grab a tape measure. You'll see these little bubbles in the actual sticker. Those are just little pockets that are holding water still in them, and this outer film is preventing that water from coming out all the way. So once you get it pretty well locked in, try to get that film off. That way you can work it some more. There you go, completed, no issues. Hopefully somebody found this helpful. Like I said, this is not the only way. There's plenty of ways of doing this. This is just the way that I do it. I found that it works the best for me. Stay tuned for the next video. Got some goodies going on. Like, subscribe, share. Later.